We are also celebrating the first day of fall with a look at the equinox.
It basically means equal days and nights.
Why leaves change color.
It has a lot to do with the chemicals, the substances within the leaves themselves.
And the danger of wet leaves on the road.
From our nation's capital, this is the National Weather Desk.
Good morning and welcome to the National Weather Desk. I'm Angela Brown. Today is the first day of fall and we'll have much more on that coming up just a little bit later. But we begin with Gabrielle, which is now the second hurricane of the Atlantic season. Moments ago, it strengthened into a major Category 3 hurricane. There are also two other areas of concern. The National Hurricane Center is watching very closely at this moment. Lauren Oleski, meteorologist, is tracking the tropics for us right now.
We will get a look across the Atlantic basin right now, still monitoring the tropics. We've got Gabrielle, a hurricane, and then two other waves right now. I'm not really concerned with either one of these impacting Florida in any direct or major way. I know this looks a little close to us. We'll watch them both. We might see this becoming a depression maybe by the middle of this week. Over the next day or so, it's got to battle some drier air. We'll watch both of those waves, but like I mentioned, I'm not really concerned with them impacting us really at all. Gabrielle has winds of 90 miles per hour. It actually might strengthen a little bit over the next few days, maybe becoming a major hurricane by early tomorrow morning as it continues to move out to sea. Again, no threat for us. Next name on our list is Umberto and then Imelda. Hurricane season ends November 30th.
Well, yesterday marked 1 year since what's become known as the Great New England Hurricane of 1938. Meteorologist A.J. Mastrangelo tells us more about the historic storm and what made it simply so impactful.
This storm system brought lots in the way of damage and unfortunately fatalities to New England as it pushed ashore as only one of three major hurricanes to make landfall in parts of New England. So it made a first landfall in Long Island, but let's first talk about early on that Wednesday morning back in 1938. The storm was a Category 4 storm east of Cape Hatteras. It then accelerated, actually interacted with the cold front in the jet stream. It was moving roughly 50 miles per hour, which is very, very fast for a tropical cyclone. Now, the landfall on Long Island, the initial landfall between 2:10 and 2:40 p.m. That's when we started to see really see things across the region start to deteriorate. As we can see, some of these wind gusts, Blue Hill Observatory, yes, a little higher up in the atmosphere, sustained winds 121 miles per hour, gusting to nearly 200 miles per hour. Block Island as well, sustained winds at 91 miles an hour, gusting to 121. The storm surge with this large system was 12 to 15 feet above our normal high tide levels. And of course, the storm did provide lots in the way of damage throughout New England, all the way up through Quebec. Now, the big reason why this was such a strong hurricane is because of its path and its size. Now, the right front quadrant of a hurricane is the most dangerous. The winds, tornadoes, storm surge, and flooding all are maximized there. Now, landfall with winds around 120 miles per hour and the movement 47 miles per hour to the north, that right front quadrant had estimated winds of 167 miles per hour. We did see that come into fruition in Blue Hill. So a very destructive storm, and of course the path, and didn't even help Molly that this storm hit at astronomical high tide too, so it did maximize on that flooding potential.
And today marks 36 years since Hurricane Hugo made landfall on Sullivan's Island, South Carolina. The Category 4 storm hit around midnight on September 22nd with winds near 140 miles per hour and sea levels over 12 feet. 35 deaths were blamed on the storm, with over 400 people injured. 3,300 homes were destroyed and another 18,000 sustained major damage, with a total of $6 billion in losses. Now, one person is critically injured after a severe storm struck northern Texas last night. Powerful winds left a 45 to 50-foot hole in the roof of Walmart distribution center near Dallas. Damage was also reported in an RV park as well. You see it here. And I-35 shut down after 3 tractor trailers overturned. There's a risk of more severe weather today in the nation's midsection. The areas around Oklahoma City and Omaha, Nebraska both face a level 2 out of 5 threat for severe thunderstorms this afternoon and also tonight. Strong wind gusts, ping-pong-sized hail, heavy rainfall, and very low tornado risk are all possible. A sizable earthquake woke people up in the San Francisco Bay Area this morning. The 4.3 magnitude quake struck just before 3 a.m. local time and was centered about a mile east of Berkeley. While there was plenty of shaking, there are no reports of injuries or any major damage. Well, heavy rain pounded portions of Southern California last week. The rain from the remnants of Tropical Storm Mario started Thursday night and lasted through the weekend. It caused mud and debris flows that knocked down trees and plowed into homes. Now, homeowners are left cleaning up the mess. Joy Benedict reports.
Tell you what, it is raining like a son of a gun.
The rain fell fast, and its wrath ferocious.
Mud started coming through the window as I was trying to get my dog out of the crate, broke the door, and then it was just game over from there.
Ian Johnson was trapped when mud flowed through his home in Forest Falls.
There's nothing I could do. I got swept and pinned against the door with a log in the couch, and I was stuck against the door, screaming for my friend to come help me, but he was screaming because he was stuck on the side of the house getting swept away.
The morning after, he and his wife came back with friends, now trying to salvage anything they can.
I'm probably most thankful because my kids weren't here. Because had my kids were here, I think it would be a totally different story.
This is the wall that separates the garage.
Down the road, the Ritchie family is picking up their belongings from this hillside after the mud flow came through their garage, taking everything with it.
You hear the freight train sound. You see the water. You know it's raining hard. And before long, everything is coming down the mountain around you.
It's a story heard all over town. Mud, debris, tree trunks burying homes, driveways, and memories.
There are things like pictures that you want to save, and that's what we're trying to do.
And on every corner is a story of survival.
They got caught in the house during the debris flow. They broke a window to get out.
And although it's not clear yet the full extent of the damage from this storm, investigators say they have at least half a dozen homes with significant damage.
As for the Johnsons, they lost a dog in this storm. A second was found alive today. But with 3 children and a 4th on the way, they say they are just thankful for what survived and those who have come to try and help them.
In Northern California, new technology is helping firefighters keep the Garnet fire from spreading. The fire scorched over 60,000 acres and is now finally 99% contained. Now, fire officials say drones were used to spot dangerous hotspots hiding beneath ash and debris. Pilots flew over the fire perimeter with infrared cameras and captured thermal images and GPS coordinates. They then send out crews to put the fire out. Cal Fire says the drone technology cuts down on guesswork, reduces risks, and helps with evacuation orders.
You can use this certainly to make those decisions and calls to say, hey, this would be an area we would want to look to evacuate due to these factors. And again, the fact that this wind speed, wind direction, and fuels are adjustable, you can really go to extreme scenarios to say, what if this got really bad, or what if the wind shifted?
Right now, they get updates every 30 minutes with every pass of a satellite, but that can be an eternity in a wildfire moving towards homes. They're working on getting more satellites to cover the hottest times for fire. That's 3 to 7 in the afternoon to see through smoke and flames when drones and other ground cameras may not have access.
On this first day of fall, let's check the weather at popular areas to see seasonal colors. And we start in New England, where some places like here in New Hampshire's White Mountains are already reaching peak color. Much of New Hampshire should see partly sunny skies today with highs in the 70s. Also reaching peak colors are areas of northern Minnesota and Michigan's UP. This area should see rain today with highs around 60. Colors are starting to appear in the Rockies, including western Montana. It will be cool today in Bozeman, with the mercury staying mostly in the 50s in this case. And the Great Smoky Mountains are a very popular spot for leaf peeping. There could be scattered thunderstorms in Gatlinburg, Tennessee today, with highs in the upper 70s. We'll be right back.
I'm meteorologist Ryan Munn. Let's get a look at the Northeast. We head through the day on Monday. Overall, it's going to be a beautiful day all across the Northeast. We are looking at lots of sunshine, some clouds here and there. Temperatures will run in the 70s for the most part. Then you notice some showers and thunderstorms will develop as we head through Monday night into early on Tuesday. If you're in areas over towards New York, Pennsylvania, you may see some scattered showers. That will continue into the day on Tuesday with high temperatures for the day Monday running in the 70s for most.
I'm Chief Meteorologist Gerard Bailey. Here's a look at the Mid-Atlantic region. Clouds lingering through your Monday. As we get into Tuesday, we'll start to see the rain chances returning. Showers and afternoon thunderstorms will start to pop up, mainly in the second half of the day. We've got several disturbances on the way, so the rain chances will be lingering going through the week. Tomorrow may be some of the warmer temperatures that we have. Also early Tuesday, low 80s to some upper 70s, high in the mountains, but will be pretty warm on Tuesday, and temperatures will start to fall.
I'm Chief Meteorologist Vetus Reed. Here's a look at your southeast forecast highs. We're looking at Nashville, 85 degrees, Raleigh 84, 92 in Birmingham, a little hotter there, 86 in Jacksonville, West Palm 88 degrees. Looks like we're seeing a little mixture of some sun and clouds across parts of the southeast. A few coastal showers across parts of the Georgia coastline there around Savannah. Looking at a little rain up towards Arkansas and Memphis. We'll see some thunderstorms there. A little bit of cloud cover as well across South Florida, but some sun around Atlanta.
Weather Window, presented by the National Weather Desk.
Awe-inspiring shots of American bald eagles looking for their next meal. These were taken along Alaska's Inside Passage in the town of Ketchikan. A male wood duck takes flight in Washington state. And at Yellowstone National Park, always remember animals viewed outside your car's window are just as close and just as big as they appear.
Want to see your weather photos and videos on TV? Click Chime In on this station's website to share.
Fall officially begins this afternoon at 2:19 Eastern Time, but why do we have this change in seasons? It all has to do with the Earth and its relation to the sun. Meteorologist Violet Skyborg explains.
So the fall equinox is also the same event as the spring equinox. It basically means equal days and nights. So our sunrise and our sunset are at the same time at opposite times of the day, and the length of daylight and nighttime are the same. And as we head towards the winter solstice, after the official start of fall, our days will start to get shorter and shorter, and our nights get longer and longer. And then the opposite is true once we head from spring back to summer, longer days and shorter nights. And this also happens at the equator, the spring and fall equinox, whereas the winter solstice occurs at the Tropic of Capricorn and the summer solstice at the Tropic of Cancer. Just an interesting little fun fact you can share with your friends and family.
Aside from pumpkin spice and scented candles, changing leaves are one of the things people look forward to most this season. But what causes the leaves to go from green to vibrant red, yellow, golds maybe? Meteorologist John Gum explains.
All right, it's that time of the year when we begin to see brilliant fall colors popping over portions of the United States. So exactly why do we get these colors this time of the year? Well, it has a lot to do with the chemicals, the substances within the leaves themselves. Of course, when we have green leaves, it's the chlorophyll that's creating the green leaves. That chlorophyll is the substance that converts energy from sunlight into energy the trees use to make their food. But as the colder weather settles in, the chlorophyll begins to break down. And as it does, the other substances in the leaves begin to take over. Xanthophyll is the substance that creates the yellow color. So if you see leaves that start to turn yellow, that's the chemical that is responsible for that. Carotene, yeah, same thing in carrots, is what makes the orange color. And those are always present. It's just as the chlorophyll goes away, we begin to see those colors start to dominate. Anthocyanin is the one that makes the red color. And yes, there's other chemical reactions that take place there that can create that substance. So when you see the red color, that is why we are seeing it. And typically, what you need to get the most brilliant colors is a late summer that's dry, but not too dry. If it's too dry, the trees start to drop the leaves early. Just dry enough, though, and an autumn that has sunny, mild days and cool nights tends to give us the best colors. So get out and about, enjoy those brilliant fall colors over the next several weeks.
The fall leaves can be great to look at, but that can cause a major risk on the roads. Meteorologist Christina Ernie posted about the danger of wet leaves on TikTok. Take a look.
Fall means falling leaves, which means slick roadways. Wet leaves on the ground can be more slippery than ice, so it's important that you leave more time to stop when you're driving. When you're traveling at 40 miles per hour on a dry day, you should give yourself 80 feet to stop. That's about 5 car lanes. When it's raining, you should at least give yourself double that. But wet leaves are even harder for your car's treads to grip onto, which means you have to stop 250 feet ahead of time. That's 16 cars early, or almost the length of a football field.
Well, it's not just leaves that can be a risk on the road. This time of year, there's an increase in deer-related auto accidents in the fall months. We spoke to retired state trooper Bob Barris, Trooper Bob, who says mating season is starting now and explains what to do if you find yourself face-to-face with a buck on the road.
So that's why you're seeing a lot of deer. You know, they move around in the early morning hours, and we're trying to get to work in the morning hours. So that's why you're seeing a lot of these collisions.
What can we do, first of all, to avoid hitting a deer? And what do you do if it's kind of unavoidable?
Deer are unpredictable. So when the deer do run out in front of you, we have to expect the unexpected, but never cross the center line to avoid a deer. Your chances of getting in a head-on collision are very good. And also running off the right side of the roadway. You can strike a fixed object, such as a tree, a fence, a pole, and your best defense in a collision is obviously wearing a seatbelt. So you want to, unfortunately, you want to strike the animal instead of striking a vehicle or a fixed object.
And if you hit a deer, should you call 911? Should you keep on moving along? What's the protocol?
All right, so yeah, call 911. You want to report the collision, and you're going to need the report for the insurance company. And also, you could, in our area, you could take the deer home with you.
Interesting. What if the deer is not dead?
Well, the law enforcement will come out and either euthanize the deer or they'll let it run off. But normally when the deer gets hit, there's some sort of injury to it. And unfortunately, they'll have to put it down.
Do you have any tips on avoiding not only deer, but anything this time of year and just staying safe on the roadways?
You know, it's fall, and a lot of people are out there looking at the leaves and stuff. You want to make sure you have a proper tire inflation in your tires. That not only prolongs the life of the tire, but gives you better handling, better gas mileage, and give a little more distance between you and the vehicle in front of you. Those leaves are just as slick as ice in some areas.
Well, fall may be here, but it doesn't mean you can't still get out in your garden. West Virginia meteorologist Dante Ricky shows us why now is the perfect time to plant some of your favorite fruits and vegetables.
The fall season, a great time to plant some of your favorite fruits and vegetables. In fact, right now here in September, you can easily plant green beans and even tomatoes, and they might be ready for the harvest. However, there are some things that are going to be important to keep an eye on. For example, these very cold mornings, they're right around the corner here, especially in those higher elevations. The temperatures can drop below freezing early, and that can create a problem. Some plants are just not able to withstand the extreme cold of winter. Now, the first freeze on average can happen as early as October in the higher elevations. For most of us in West Virginia, the middle to end of October, that's when we will expect to have that first freeze on average. It can happen earlier, though, or even later, depending on the season. Now, a few plants that were probably good for the summertime harvest include corn, cucumbers, and onions. Maybe not the best idea to set those up right now. The freeze is really just right around the corner here if you look at it that way. But some of these green vegetables here, the peas, the spinach, kale, broccoli, cauliflower, all good to go here into the coming weeks as well. Some impacts or things that we consider. in terms of getting to that freeze or frost earlier in the year. If you're close to a river or a large body of water, sometimes that can help to give you a few extra days. The higher elevations definitely going to hit those cold temperatures sooner. And if you're in a rural area where there is a lot of farmland, that also can allow those temperatures to drop at nighttime. I'm meteorologist Dante Ricky. Enjoy your fall season.
And time now for a short break, but first let's take in the views of last year's fall foliage in Utah.
Good morning, I'm meteorologist Sarah Converse. Some much needed rain for parts of the Midwest as we continue to deal with the drought. But this is all due to a frontal boundary that's eventually going to set up by the middle of the work week, bringing us some pretty active pattern for the Midwest. Springfield, Illinois, high today of around 80, Cincinnati 73, Milwaukee 79 the high for you today. We'll have the chance for a few lingering rain showers across the Midwest again for tonight.
Good Monday morning. I'm meteorologist Joe DeCarlo. Look at your forecast across the region. We're tracking more scattered showers and thunderstorms Oklahoma into Arkansas for the day today. Still summer-like temperatures. We're in the upper 80s to mid-90s across the region. But here's our next weather maker. It's a cold front that will start to move through. You'll notice cooler temperatures behind the front by Tuesday morning, and will also bring more rain chances as well as it slowly pushes to the south through the middle part of the week. Have a great Monday.
Happy first day of fall, everybody. I'm meteorologist Stella Sun. High pressure will keep the Pacific Northwest nice and dry. Meanwhile, showers will shake out through parts of the desert Southwest and in the Rocky Mountains, with thunderstorms possibly igniting in the afternoon. Daytime highs will be climbing to the upper 70s through Albuquerque and in Denver. Salt Lake City only warm to 69 degrees with the rain showers expected. 90s through Vegas and in Phoenix. In the middle 70s if you live in LA, and upper 70s in Portland.
You are watching the National Weather Desk.
And in honor of the start of the fall season, let's test your knowledge of fall. To do that, we turn to meteorologist Natalie Walters.
The first question is true or false. Fall begins at the same time every year. That is false. Sometimes fall is on September 22nd, the 23rd. Very rarely it would be on the 21st or the 24th, but it all depends on when the sun's rays move directly over the equator. Second question, what does the Latin word equinox mean? Equinox means equal nights. Next question, if it is fall in the northern hemisphere, what season is it in the southern hemisphere? The southern hemisphere is about to begin the season of spring, the vernal equinox. Next question is true or false? Fall is the best season. All right, that's just my opinion, but to me, fall is the best season. So I hope you guys all have a happy fall.
Oh, and we love to share your weather content on the air. You can find us on all your favorite social media platforms, including Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, TikTok. Just search the National Weather Desk. We'll be right back. Thank you so much for joining us. I'm Angela Brown. Make it a great day, and I'll see you right back here tomorrow. Maybe not.